Hi, my name is John Melnick. I have a story to share with you. September 19th of 2002, in the midst of a deep depression, I swam fully clothed in a business suit into the middle of the fast-flowing Red River in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I swam back out, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about what led to me getting into that position to start with. I'll go back about a year before that. I had been working in a financial planning practice. I had my own business. I was working 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week. And by the time spring of 2002 rolled around, I was having deep insomnia, huge insomnia. I couldn't get the clients out of my mind. I couldn't turn my mind off. I was worried about the business. I went to the doctor. My doctor said, well, I'll give you some sleeping pills. Fine. I took them, went back to him about 10 days later, and I said, Doctor, they're not working. Give me something stronger. So my doctor told me that these pills should be knocking me right out. And he said, there's something else going on. He said, you have depression, and he said, you've had this before. I said, I don't think so. He said, yes, you have. I started thinking, and by gosh, when I was about 25, I went through and had a similar set of symptoms. I wasn't able to work very well. My sleep pattern was erratic. I was very anxious. And what I did is I took a 3-month leave of absence from my job, traveled around Europe, backpacked for a good time, 3 months, came back, not knowing I had solved and self-treated a depression. Over the next 5 or 6 months, I was being treated for depression. I was taking various types of medications, but nothing seemed to be working. Then, September 19th, 2002, I swam right into the middle of the Red River, like I say, in a business suit. And in the middle of that river, something happened, something amazing. I believe I got a message from an aunt of mine. She's also my godmother, and she had passed on a few years before. And I believe I heard her say, John, turn around, swim back out, this is going to get better, there's work for you to do, and this is why I taught you to swim when you were 6 years old. Well, whatever, I swam back out. I was now about 100 yards downstream from where I had entered the river. I staggered back through the mud and the grime and got into my car. I don't remember how, but I drove home. The next thing I remember is standing in the driveway. My wife had just come home from doing something. I'm standing there dripping wet with mud and water, and she looks at me, she says, what happened? I said, I swam into the river. She said, we're going to the hospital. That's the last thing I remember for a while. Major decision in the hospital, which was a good decision. Boy, has it ever worked out well. I decided I would abandon my dream of ever owning that business and sell it. Then I started working on recovery. I started trying to learn as much as I could about depression because my doctor had told me that it's likely to happen again, and I thought I better be prepared. So I started working on it. The more I worked on it, the more I learned about it, the more I realized there are many people who are in or close to the situation that I was in back in September of 2002. But more importantly, I learned that these things can be prevented. These rash suicide attempts can be prevented. So I started thinking, how can I share what I've learned with anybody who wants to be aware of it? And one of the things I've done is I've created 2 DVDs. One of them is called Out of the Shadows, and it talks about the business case, how business people can benefit by having good mental health programs and benefit their business. A $4 to 1 return on every dollar invested in mental health, according to the Mental Health Commission in Canada. Second one is called Suicide Denied. It is the formula that I have used to, number one, pull myself out of the depths of depression, and more importantly, to keep my depression at bay. I have to deal with depression every day, and I'm keeping it at bay, and these are the secrets that have worked for me, and I'm hoping that just being aware that you can have a plan that will work for you will help other people take a look at it and be able to work more effectively at controlling their own mental health issues and getting good mental health going. Here's one of the biggest things that I have learned and has helped me deal with my own depression. Don't take it personally. depression is an illness, it is not a weakness, and when you see it that way, you can treat it as an illness. I'll draw a parallel. When my depression starts to come on, there are certain signs that I see. I start to get short and snappy with people. I'm not able to sleep as well as usual. I forget things. I tend to be forgetting things. Those are signs to me that depression's coming back. So, what do? I clear my schedule for the next week or 10 days. I do things like going to the show, I relax, I talk to my wife about how I'm feeling, I play with our dogs, which I do most of the time anyway, but I really enjoy those types of things. I read some good books, I read some inspiring things. These are all methods that I've put together that help me deal with my own depression. But here's the thing. If you know someone who has a sore throat, or you yourself have a sore throat, what do? You start taking the right type of medication for it, you probably sleep a little bit longer, you might even stay home from work for a few days. You allow your body the opportunity to deal with what's happening. Same thing with depression, I find. It's an illness, it's not a weakness, it can be dealt with, and I don't take it personally. I don't say this is part of me and I'm weak. Actually, I'm stronger because I'm able to deal with it that way, and I keep my depression at bay.